4-year-old girl is recovering from a vicious Rottweiler attack over the weekend, and a Surrey man is being hailed a hero for saving her life.
The dog is dangerous, very dangerous.
Yun Chi's wounds are a terrifying reminder of the chaos that he encountered in a residential alleyway in Surrey on Saturday evening. He was heading out for dinner with his family when he heard a little girl screaming. She says there was no time to think, only to react, and as he rushed towards the girl, he could see that the dog had her in its grip.
The dog bites the girl and then pulls the girl on the way. A lot of blood. It's very dangerous. So I get out of the car to get closer. Dog, and when I arrive, the dog look at me. It's very lucky the dog drops the girl. Then the dog look at me. After 2 seconds, the dog attacked me. Yes, yeah. It's a middle finger. I have no feeling. It's a middle finger, and just hanging. It's very deep, and there's no time to think anything. It's very dangerous. If I don't go there, maybe this girl might be die. When it happened, my children is on in the car, you know. So as a parent, I have to do that. No matter whose children, I have to do it. That's it.
Now, I should say that the latest information that we have is that the 4-year-old girl who was attacked by the dog has been released from hospital, is recovering. That's the good news. The dog, in this case, has been put down. That was with the consent of the owner. But moving forward, I mean, there's certainly a whole range of questions that could be asked about what happens next, because certainly at the end of the day, this was serious. You have 2 people who were badly injured. So joining us right now to talk about some of the possibilities moving forward, Victoria Shroff, a lawyer, also a law professor at UBC. And so, you know, I'm looking at this case from, first and foremost, from the parents' point of view of this poor girl who was attacked. If they decide, you know what, we're angry about this, we want damages from what's happened, and they decide to move forward with some kind of a lawsuit,
right,
what are some of the things that would be in play in that kind of a case?
Right, so Andrew, what you'd be looking at is some of the prior history of the dog, for example. You'd be looking at, has this dog had this sort of behavior happen in the past? Has he bitten before? Has he been aggressive before? What level of aggressiveness? Was there an almost similar attack that took place in the past? Were they told prior to this incident occurring, the owners, that they should have put up fences, and they didn't, and not high enough fences, not secure enough fences? So many factors will go into that. And I assume that you were referring, of course, to a civil case, civil liability. We have, you know, the BC Supreme Court handles cases of $35,000 and over. $35,000 and under is now litigated in small claims as of June 1st. Okay. So those are some avenues available to potential victims.
And I guess worth mentioning, I mean, in this case, there are so many of these details that we just don't know, right?
It's early days.
But, I mean, you talk about sort of a dog's prior history.
Yes.
If a dog didn't have any prior history of attack,
right,
does that sort of absolve the owner then?
It doesn't absolve the owner. Everything will be up to a judge. But what's interesting here is there was no dangerous dog hearing. Typically, if a lawyer had been involved, they probably would have asked for a dangerous dog hearing before having the dog put down. So that didn't happen here.
Are you surprised that, it was as quick?
I was surprised at the speed in which this case has proceeded to the destruction of the dog.
And just for clarity, what does that tell you that it proceeded that
Well,
quickly?
I mean, it's speculation, but one might assume that this dog had prior attacks. One might assume that, given the alacrity in which the owner agreed to the destruction of their pet.
I'm also curious about the Good Samaritan who intervened.
Right. A hero, I think, as you probably do yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, putting himself at risk, and he was with his family at the time as well.
Yes.
If he decides, I've got medical bills, my work is compromised now because of the damage to my hands, what kind of a case would he have?
So he would have his own case. You know, there are 3 levels. You'd be looking at municipal intervention, criminal intervention, and civil intervention that could happen. If in the municipal case and in the criminal case, he would be a witness because he's not suing for damages. He won't get damages from that. And a lot would flow on what the judge decides. Again, it could be in the hands of the court to say, you know, let me look at the situation here. Did he act prudently? Did he act foolishly? By all accounts, we've seen this man did everything he could. He did not act foolishly. He did everything that he had to do to save that girl's life.
Well, and certainly we are still working to try to get more details about this particular case and how things unfolded. But these are interesting questions to explore. So Victoria Shroff, thanks for joining us here in the program.
Should I just add one more thing, if I may? And that is, what we're looking at here is trying to balance the rights of dog owners with community safety, and it's not always an easy balance.
Certainly. Thanks for joining us.